Kixon has been kicked in favor of Karrigan, probably the most talked about roster move of the last few days. Karrigan has given his first proper interview since leaving Faze and joining Falcons. The Danish IGL spoke to HLTV ahead of PGL Astana, where Falcons are starting a new era with him leading the team. And honestly, this interview was basically damage control, career reflection, and Falcons hype all in one. Karrigan explained that the last year and a half with Faze had been really rough, both in terms of results and on a personal level. He said the team had some of the worst results in Faze history. The major failure hit hard, and at some point he even started wondering if he could keep going as IGL there. Then the Falcons offer came in. According to Karrigan, the whole move happened extremely fast, around 7 days before the major deadline. He only recently re-signed a long contract with Faze, and the buyout was never going to be easy. And at first, he didn't even think the move would even happen. The controversial part is how the Faze players found out. Karrigan said he didn't tell the team immediately because if the transfer collapsed, he would have completely destroyed the trust within Faze by admitting he wanted to leave. By the time both sides told him the deal might actually happen, Faze management had already informed the players before he could do it himself. So from his side, it wasn't a planned betrayal, it was a move that went from impossible to maybe possible to signed right before the deadline. Of course, the HLTV comments do not care, and half the community instantly started calling him Rattigan, Snake, Traitor, Paycheck Stealer, and all the classic poetry of HLTV. But Karrigan's explanation is pretty simple. Faze was mentally draining him. Falcons gave him a chance to play with Nico, Monacy, Kixon. Karrigan's explanation is pretty simple. Faze was mentally draining him. Falcons gave him a chance to play with Nico, Monacy, Kiosuke, and Tessis, and he felt a fire he had not felt since Robs joined Faze. He also made it clear that this is not meant to be a 3-month retirement paycheck. He said the Falcons see him as a long-term project. Obviously, his results matter. If they don't improve within 9 to 12 months, then nobody's job is safe. In terms of how Falcons will play, Karrigan said this is going to be a full reset, especially on the T side. He said the system is different from Kixon's, and now Falcons need to forget the old player failures, because they're going to win and lose differently. The main idea seems to be giving the stars freedom, but not letting them around like 5-pug demons with expensive jerseys. Karrigan wants the team to have structure, but also allow players like Monacy and Nico to take mid-round decisions. He said he would prefer not to micro everything, but nobody takes initiative, he'll start to take control and finish the round himself. On Nico, Karrigan said there's no bad blood between them. Despite all the old Faze drama, he praised Nico's secondary calling and said both of them have matured a lot since the old days. As of Zonic, he said the reunion has been very positive and that Zonic is much more involved in in-game details than most coaches he has worked with. Karrigan also said he feels trusted by the Falcons coaching staff and has the space to build his own system. The most interesting part was probably what he said about Monacy. Karrigan straight up called him the best Orba he has played with. He said Monacy is already trying to predict his calls and that their chemistry is developing very, very quickly. He also spoke about Kiosuke, saying he's amazing at clearing space and taking zones, but sometimes he gets lost in late rounds. Karrigan's plan is basically to be in front of him, run first when needed, and make it easier for Kiosuke to follow the action instead of overthinking the round. And then there's Tessus, who Karrigan called underrated. He said Tessus actually helps the team too much, to the point where he told them to be more selfish, which is probably the weirdest thing to say, and the first time in CS history an IGL has joined a superstar team and told the support player to bait more. As for expectations, Karrigan was extremely careful. He said that Astana is mostly about learning how the team works, what maps need fixing, and how they perform under pressure. The real targets are Cologne and especially the Singapore major, where Falcons will have had the months to build the system properly. He also said some strong words about Vitality, calling them the best team to ever do it, and so on and so on. So clearly he's not giving them any bulletin board material yet. Overall, the interview paints this move as Karrigan's last big project. He knows Falcons have the firepower, he knows the pressure is massive, and he knows the community is clowning him for leaving Faze the way he did. But from his point of view, Faze was running out of road. Falcons gave him one last chance to win big trophies, and he decided to take it. Whether this makes him a snake, a genius, or a 36-year-old IGL making the most obvious career move possible, we'll find out very soon, today at Astana.